first of all, it would be great if you can, start off with just giving me a brief overview of your role at ESET.
Okay. Adele, I'm the general manager of ESET Middle East. I'm coming in the region with some experience in the past from the region itself, but from ESET, the most important. I'm working with ESET the past 9 years, but in a different region. So I'm here to help the company achieve their targets and grow more in the region.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So, as we all know, the biggest, thing that's going on today is the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. So this has resulted to a tremendous shift, a big shift in the way businesses operate. They're now moving more towards remote working or a hybrid form of, work processes. So how do you think has this, transformation, has this shift impacted the cybersecurity space?
Of course, due to the rising health concerns and the adoption of remote working, business are more digitally connected now, and thereby they are more vulnerable than ever. Understanding remote access systems and their resiliency is an imperative security measure, as any misconfiguration can lead exposing sensitive information on the internet, as well as DDoS attacks. We see a big influx of cyber criminals who are now scamming with COVID-19 or similar themed attacks, and people which are desperate for more information on this growing, or I would say ongoing crisis, are falling prey to this and falling easily to the trap. Lastly, for many companies, business continuation plans and incident response plans are still inadequate, since IT security leaders never anticipated such crisis on such a large scale. So a robust security posture and response must be aggressively adopted in this COVID-19 world, we could say.
So, obviously you have mentioned that, cyber criminals are leveraging or are taking advantage of, the different uncertainties that people are feeling because of the pandemic. So, what were the biggest, cybersecurity challenges or cyber threats that, that the market has seen since the pandemic began?
Today we have employees working from home, and employees working from home are facing a range of challenges, from increased phishing attempts and fraudulent emails, of course, since the beginning of this COVID-19 crisis, to poor technical infrastructure and inadequate cyber and data security measures from their companies itself. So if employees are expected to work at the same pace as before, they will require latest technology and updated software, along, of course, with reliable internet connection, which is very important. The sudden move, though, to remote working may also implicate some employees to cut security corners, either due to lack of cybersecurity training by their IT security teams, which is usual, or because they are under pressure to get work done quickly. So in many cases, if the security policies disrupt the productivity of the employee, in this new environment that he's facing, he will find workarounds and put the entire organization at risk. Also, due to the lack of usual work setup, IT security teams may have impaired and delayed responses to issues raised by the remote workers and users. Again, of course, impeding employees to adopt safe data practices.
What about in terms of, the increase in cyber threats? Like what are the most prevalent ones? We've seen the rise of like threats such as like social engineering and ransomware. So since at the moment there are still uncertainties as to when COVID-19 will end, do you think we will see more of these kinds of attacks in the coming months?
Yes, I believe we will see more. The cyber criminals are taking advantage of any difficult or any opportunity that they can find, and they're taking advantage. So we need to be prepared that we will face more and more of those.
As one of the with ESET being one of the biggest a leading player in the cybersecurity industry, what advice would you give organizations in terms of ensuring that their workforce is practicing good cyber hygiene while they're working remotely?
Okay, due to the new working environment, as we believe that, the style that we had with COVID-19, it looks to be the style that will remain for long. People will have to work from home. It is important for organizations to prepare against increased cybersecurity risks of this kind. So I cannot stress enough how important is to have a policy for strong password. Strong password to access the device, applications, services. And of course, very, very, very important is to set activity to time out when not in use. When the device is not in use, it has to be timed out. We should never leave a device unattended and look to implement full disk encryption in our devices. So we ensure if the device falls into wrong hands, there is no misuse of our company's data. Always we should use VPN encryption in connection to access company's internal network remotely, as this way we prevent man-in-the-middle attack, since working from home means that all our data is actually following over a public network, flowing over a public network. So we need to make sure that we protect our connections. We should urge employees to audit their home environment as well, because IoT devices, we need to make sure that all our IoT devices are updated with their firmware updated and setting unique passwords to protect from vulnerabilities, to avoid any possibilities of attacks in our home. Last but not least, we should avoid using company devices to use our personal data. Company devices should be only for company and not for personal use, as it can create even more security loopholes.
Okay, and thank you for mentioning all that. And as for ESET, so how are you supporting organizations to successfully implement these steps? How are you enabling them to stay secure while helping them to still be agile and productive during this time?
Okay, during the pandemic, which was a surprise for all of us, it was something that came without protecting it. Our priority first was to protect our existing customers, but of course, as well as contribute as much as we could towards helping other business by offering anything that we could offer. So for our existing customers, we offered renewal extension facilities for those that their licenses were expiring, by giving them some more time until they were ready to renew, because most of the people could not act as proper companies that period. We also offered 90-day extended free trial on some of our products, like on ESET Dynamic Threat Defense, our solution that utilizes cloud-based sandboxing to detect never before seen threats due to an increased amount of ransomware attacks that period. We also offered 90 days extended trials on ESET Secure Authentication, our multi-factor authentication solution, to help the companies improve the access to their company network, the remote access to their company network. In addition to this, we also run special promos for new customers, which these promos are actually still running. I mean, we are still offering this opportunity to new customers, as we wanted to give the opportunity to those companies not having a security solution or not having the right solution, let's say, to stay protected during the challenging period. We still offer free trials on our solutions, along with our extended support from our technical team to install and implement customer environment to help interested companies in identifying ideal solutions to protect their businesses, because for them it's also experimental right now, and they don't have too much time. They need to try and understand what they need to use.
Okay, and thanks for sharing all that. And what can the market expect from ESET in the coming months?
Okay, moving forward, workforce look to be a new normal. It will stay with us. We know that it will stay for longer. So our focus will be on remodeling our existing solutions to be more adaptive towards a home office for business environment, I would say, to function in an efficient and secured way. We are also looking at few new solutions being launched later in the year, focus on cloud setup and cloud utilization.